Grand Admiral Zex Korriban of the Galactic Imperial Fleet stood on the bridge of the inevitable dominance, his forearms folded behind his back in the traditional pose of imperial authority. His scaled skin gleamed under the tactical displays that bathed the command deck in a cold blue light. Around him, the bridge crew representatives of the 17 core species of the Empire maintained their stations with disciplined precision. "Status report on the new species," he commanded, his voice carrying the artificial harmonic that denoted his elevated rank. Science Officer Trill Vex, her tentacles dancing across her console, responded immediately. "The humans have agreed to the diplomatic rendezvous, Admiral. Their delegation is approaching the designated coordinates now." Zex Korriban's secondary eyes narrowed, while his primary pair remained fixed on the main view screen. "Visual confirmation? Coming through now, sir." The view screen flickered, then stabilized to show 3 vessels approaching. Zex Korriban couldn't suppress a dismissive click from his mandibles. The human ships were primitive, bulky, asymmetrical, with exposed thrusters, and what appeared to be actual windows, a structural weakness no Imperial vessel would tolerate. Their hulls showed visible weld marks and patches. One even had what appeared to be painted symbols on its side, some form of primitive identification, no doubt. "Those are their diplomatic vessels?" he asked, incredulously. "Affirmative, Admiral," Trill Vex confirmed. "According to their transmission, we are observing the UES Determination, their flagship, accompanied by 2 escort vessels." Commander Vril Nexus, his exoskeleton clicking softly as he moved to the Admiral's side, lowered his voice. A deliberate insult, perhaps? Sending such obsolete technology to meet the Imperial fleet? The Admiral considered this. The Empire had encountered 2,317 species in its 40,000-year expansion. Some had resisted. Some had submitted. Some had attempted deception. But none had ever appeared so underwhelming. "Scan those vessels." "Full spectrum," he ordered. The tactical officer, a methane-breathing Quirilian, gurgled an acknowledgement. "Scans complete, Admiral." Primitive fusion reactors. Chemical thrusters. No quantum shielding. Armor plating appears to be simple titanium alloys. Weapons systems consist of railguns and what appear to be chemical explosives. He paused, his breathing apparatus bubbling with what might have been amusement. "They are, however, broadcasting what they call musics on an open frequency." As if on cue, the bridge's audio system picked up the transmission, a rhythmic, percussion-heavy composition with wailing stringed instruments and human vocalizations. "They're broadcasting entertainment during a first contact?" Commander Vril Nexus asked, his confusion evident. Admiral Zex Korriban felt something unfamiliar uncertainty. In his 3-century career, he had never encountered a spacefaring species so seemingly unconcerned with protocol or, frankly, survival. Either the humans were incredibly naive or— "Open a channel," he commanded. The communications officer complied, and the view screen split to show the interior of the human vessel. A single human female sat in what appeared to be a command chair, surrounded by other humans at various stations. Their bridge was astonishingly cluttered personal items affixed to consoles, what appeared to be liquid containers at some stations, and inexplicably, some form of vegetation in containers. "This is Grand Admiral Zex Korriban of the Galactic Imperial Fleet, commanding the Imperial Dreadnought Inevitable Dominance. You have entered space claimed by the eternal empire of the 17 suns. Identify yourselves and state your purpose." The human female smiled a disconcerting baring of teeth that would signify aggression in most Imperial species. "Captain Sophia Chen of the United Earthship Determination. We're here for the diplomatic meeting you requested. Hope you don't mind the music. My crew prefers 20th century rock during approach sequences. Tradition, you know?" The casual tone was so unexpected that Zex Corrivan found himself momentarily speechless. "Your vessels," he finally said, "they are not what we expected from a species that has achieved faster than light travel." Captain Chen actually laughed another incomprehensible response during a first contact with the Empire. "Oh, these old birds? Yeah, they've seen better days. But they get the job done." Science Officer Trilvex interjected, unable to contain her scientific curiosity. "Our scans indicate your propulsion systems operate at roughly 3% the efficiency of standard Imperial technology. How did your species manage interstellar colonization with such limitations?" Another human, a male with facial hair, leaned into the visual pickup. "We're stubborn," he said with another of those tooth-bearing grins. "And we pack snacks." Several humans on their bridge laughed at this, as if interstellar travel limitations were a source of amusement. Admiral Zex Corrivan felt his patience thinning. "Captain Chen, the Empire does not appreciate levity in matters of interstellar diplomacy. We have scanned your vessels and found them to be limited. If this is representative of human technological capability, then the standard terms of Imperial integration should be acceptable to your species." The laughter on the human bridge died down. Captain Chen's expression shifted subtly. "Admiral," she said, her voice still casual, but with an unmistakable new edge, "I think there's been a misunderstanding. These ships aren't representative of our capabilities. They're surplus vessels from our merchant marine, retrofitted for diplomatic use because they're, how should I put this, expendable." "Expendable?" the Admiral repeated. "In case first contact goes sideways," another human clarified from off-screen. Captain Chen nodded. "We've had some unfortunate experiences. The Xanti incident taught us not to lead with our best tech." Admiral Zex Corrivan felt a chill run through his primary circulation system. "The Xanti? You've encountered the Xanti horde?" "Encountered, negotiated with, and when that failed, defeated," Chen said matter-of-factly. "About 30 Earth years ago. They're now a protectorate in the human cooperative. Excellent traders once they got over the whole conquer or die philosophy." Stunned silence fell over the Imperial bridge. The Xanti horde had been a scourge on the galaxy's core-ward arm for millennia. The Empire had fought 3 wars with them, each ending in costly stalemate. "Perhaps," Admiral Zex Corrivan said carefully, "we should proceed with diplomatic protocols, rather than technological assessments." "Sounds good to me," Chen agreed cheerfully. "Oh, and Admiral? The retrofit on these ships only included essential systems. We left out the quantum shielding, the dark energy weapons array, and the dimension shift drive. Hope that's not a problem for your scans." As Chen spoke, the Admiral noticed something alarming on his tactical display. The inevitable dominance's automatic defense systems had been attempting to get sensor locks on the human vessel's standard procedure during first contact, but were failing. Not because the human ships were evading, but because the targeting systems simply couldn't hold focus on them. The implications struck him like a gravitational wave. The shabby appearance, the casual attitude, the obsolete technology, all calculated to present an unthreatening facade while concealing capabilities that might exceed the Empire's own. "No problem at all, Captain Chen," he replied, decades of diplomatic training keeping his voice steady. "We look forward to productive discussions." As the transmission ended, Admiral Zex Corrivan turned to his command staff. "Rescind integration protocols," he ordered quietly. "Initiate diplomatic sequence Alpha 7. Commander Vril Nexus's eye stalks quivered in surprise. "Alpha 7? But that's reserved for potentially superior powers," the Admiral finished. "Yes, I know." As the human ships drew closer, their crude exteriors now seeming more like carefully crafted deception than technological limitation, Admiral Zex Corrivan made a mental note to review the Empire's first contact protocols. Perhaps appearances and human laughter deserved more careful analysis than the Empire had previously believed.